Welcome back to the channel. We're back with our Spider-Man Commander deck profile today with Spider-Punk. For 2 mana, you get 2/1, where this creature enters with your choice of +1/+1 counter or haste. Other spiders you control have the same ability. Spells and abilities can't be countered, and damage can't be prevented. So, we have plenty of ways to make sure we get spiders onto the battlefield in order to get that ability. This deck does suffer the same way that Shadowfax does, because spiders tend to be in green, so we don't have necessarily that many options to work with. We do have quite a few that do work well in this deck. So we do have to run just a few ways to mess with our opponent's plans a little bit more than we tend to in these types of decks. But overall, quite the fun deck. Let's go into it card by card. Arcane Signet for that mana to make sure we could actually get our stuff on the board, because some of the spiders are older, so they do cost quite a bit of mana. Fire Diamond for some mana. Hazard's Monument, whenever you cast a creature spell, discard a card, draw a card, helping us get closer to the spiders so that we can make sure we have more spiders to get that ability off with. Maskwood Nexus, in order to make sure everything is a spider. We don't necessarily just have to worry about casting spiders, we can cast anything as a spider. Mindslaver, you control target player during that player's turn. It can't be prevented, so, this does help us out quite a bit. Also, the thing with Spider-Punk is that spells and abilities can't be countered. It's not just our spells and abilities can't be countered, it's our opponent's spells and abilities can't be countered as well. So this does work in terms of that as well, and, maybe just mess up one of your opponent's big turns. Ruby Medallion for some cost reduction, Soul Ring for some mana, Swift of Boots, this way when our non-spiders enter the battlefield they have that haste, along with giving some things hexproof. Fire Crystal for some extra haste, along with some cost reduction. You also create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. Sacrifice at the beginning of the end step, but you could at least attack with it, so you have another way to get another spider onto the battlefield. Reaver Cleaver, our creatures have haste. We want to make sure that when they deal the damage, we could get some benefit off that, like some treasure tokens, get that trample onto them as well, so that they could deal some big damage. Could be a fun card there. And Wayfarer's Bauble for some additional mana. Anger, another way to give our creatures haste. This way we can get them the +1/+1 counter off of Spider-Punk's ability and not necessarily have to give them a haste every time. Arachnoid, it's a spider. It block as though it has flying, aka it has reach, it's just an older word. Archetype of Aggression, creatures control have trample, way to make sure our creatures can deal that combat damage, and, not just have to sit around and wait. Bloodline Pretender, it's changeling, so it's a spider. Enters battlefield, choose a creature type, spider. Whenever another creature of the chosen type enters the battlefield, you get a +1/+1 counter on this card. Yeah, this could just be a big creature that eventually you get trampled to. Brash Taunter, it's dealt damage. If that much damage, deal that much damage to an opponent, pay the 3 mana, tap it, fight another creature. Way to actually deal some damage to our opponent. We could have run this deck as a burn deck in theory. Like, you could run, like, all your normal, like, mono red, like, blanking on, like, almost all, like, gutter snipe abilities. But I didn't want to run this one that way. We have, like, plenty of other decks that do that same thing. But still, just having a way to actually deal some damage to our opponent. Maybe we make this into a spider so this could attack turn comes down, activate that ability turn comes down, or just have the haste to do that as well. Canoptic Spider. Whenever another non-token artifact creature or vehicle enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. We don't have that many artifact creatures, but it is a spider, and we take what we could get sometimes. Changeling Berserker. It's a changeling. You can also champion a creature when it comes into play. Sacrifice it unless you sacrifice another creature you control from the game. Wait. Oh, unless you exile another creature you control. Then when this leaves play, that creature returns to play. It's 4 mana for a 5/3, but in theory, a 6/4 for 4. Just, remove one of your things that maybe has a good enter the battlefield ability. Have something enter with some additional +1/+1 counter or haste, depending on what you need this time. Itali, Primal Storm. It's an Elder Dinosaur, which could be a spider if we have Maskwood Nexus on the board. Your opponent can't prevent, damage can't be prevented in general. So, maybe we have some ways to make sure it deals that damage. Ghost Spider, Gwen Stacy. Once again, we take some spiders that we could get. When This attacks deal X damage to the defending player, where X is the number of attacking creatures. We had 27 creatures in the stack, so in theory, if we get them all on the battlefield, that's 27 damage to our opponent. But also just giving our creatures haste and having this on the battlefield allows us some extra ways to get that damage off. Iron Spider, it's another spider. Give us our creatures some additional +1/+1 counters on top of the +1/+1 counters that Spider Punk gives them. So it's not the worst ability. Like, it helps us out a whole bunch. We can also give it haste so it could do that the turn it comes down. Allows us a little bit of draw power while we're at it. Mages of the Moon. Non-basic lands or mountains. We don't have any non-basic lands. Well, sorry, we can go like 2. But helps us out a whole bunch more than... Sorry, hurts our opponents a lot more than it does anything else for this. But overall, just pretty good ability there. We just need some cards in here. Mask Meower. Another spider. Discard a card, sacrifice a creature, draw a card. We're going to tend not to do that. We're going to tend just to have this a 1/1. Sorry, 2/2 for 1. Metallic Mimic. Another changeling. Each creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counter on it. Allows us some additional +1/+1 counter synergies on ourselves. Maybe our Mask Meower is a Jory for 1. Needlepack Spider. It's a spider. We'll take what we get. Neheb, the Eternal. At the beginning of your post-combat main phase, add red mana for each 1 life your opponent lost this turn. We're going to try to deal some damage to our opponent. Hopefully we can get there. They can't prevent it. So this helps us ramp at a later turn. So we get something like Relentless XATM 092. Can't be blocked except by drawing more creatures. It also returns to the battlefield tapped with a finality counter on it. And a +1/+1 counter on it. Because what is it? It's a spider. It's a 7/6 for 6. Roaming Drone enters the battlefield. Choose a creature type. We're going to choose Spider. If an ability of a creature of the chosen type would happen, and it happens an additional time. I mean, yeah, why not? Simian Spirit Guide. Not a spider itself, but it gets some mana. It gets some more spiders. Soulfin, Mayhem Dominus. We don't have that many ways to actually deal damage to our opponents. So when we can, let's double it. Spiderbot, it's another spider. It has reach. Search the library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it on top. I mean, it's not the best ability, but like I said, there's not that many spiders in mono red. Spider Gwen, Free Spirit, another spider, becomes tapped. You may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. A little bit of draw power is nice. Spider Islanders, Mayhem for 2. It's just a forgery. You may cast this card from your graveyard for 2 if you discarded it this turn. Taurian Mauler, probably your best spider. It's a changeling. That's a spider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're just missing 1 leg for it to be a real spider. Dran Spider, another spider. Enters the battlefield. You and target opponent each create a tapped Power Stone token, allowing you some of your artifact tokens artifact cards a little bit easier. Sure. 7 mana, look at the top card of your library, reveal an artifact card from among them, put it into your hand. We're going to tend not to do that. We're just getting a Dree 5 for Dree. Not the worst. Tobran, Dane of Redfell. Like I said, not that many ways to deal damage, but when we do, let's deal more of it. Same thing with Twin Flame Tyrant. And a Universal Automaton is another spider, a 2/2 for 1. I think Spider Punks are going to be like one of those ones that's really good and limited, but like, as a commander, I'm not sold yet. I think they're holding on to some more mono red spiders still. Blood Moon, non-basic lands or mountains. We may as well deny our opponent's lands so that we can actually play the game. City on Fire, make sure that we could deal some more damage on top of the little bit of damage that we're dealing. Curse of Opulence. We don't want to be attacked. We want to encourage people to attack other people. So let's give them gold for doing it and, get some gold in the process so that we could do a Canoptic Spider. Fire Emancipation, another way to triple some damage. That's the thing with this deck, too. It's like you could get like a 6 mana spell, and someone's like, oh no, he's going to double the damage or triple the damage. And it's just like, yeah, but what am I going to do? Attack you with a Canoptic Spider. Stranglehold. Your Your opponents can't search your libraries. If an opponent would begin an extra turn, skip that turn and send. Allows us to stop our opponents at least a little bit. Street Riot. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. Another way to make sure we can actually deal some damage to our opponent. And Uncivil Unrest. Non-token creatures you control enter with +1/+1 counter or haste. And if a creature with a +1/+1 counter would deal any damage to a permanent, double that damage instead. I mean, in theory, if we have this doubling, plus this tripling, plus this tripling, we had a doubler with our creatures, I'm pretty sure. So it's 2, say if we dealt 1 damage, we deal 2 damage, we go up to 6 damage, go up to 18 damage. So if we dealt 3 damage to our opponent, we got rid of 1 opponent. Yeah. For instance, we have a braid for some little bit of damage and a little bit of removal. Big score for a little bit of draw power, so we could actually draw into our spider spells, so that we could find one somewhere. Cast Warp, get rid of our opponent's best thing, give them the worst thing, hopefully. Demand answers for some more removal. Lightning Bolt, with some damage doublers and triplers, we could actually deal that 3 damage, so that we could deal that 54 damage. Return the favor, way to protect our creatures. Seething Song for some additional mana. Drill possibility for some draw power. Tibalt's Trickery for a counterspell. Untimely Malfunction to protect our stuff. Mountains. Mirrored Landscape for some more mountains. Swarmyard. Regenerate your spiders. Blasphemous Act for a board wipe. Disrupt Decorum. Gold all creatures you don't control. Go to all your opponent's creatures so that they can't attack you. We're basically winning. Grab the prize. Some draw power along with a little bit of damage. Mana Geyser for some mana so we can actually do some stuff. Romantic Rendezvous. Discard a card, draw 2, get to our spiders a little bit faster. Seize the Spoils. Get some treasures, get some draw power. Allow us to get to our spiders and actually play the game. Tormenting Voice, same thing. And then Vandal Blast to get rid of all of our opponent's artifacts. Like I said, I'm not super fond of this commander, but I want to make sure that I do every commander that's featured in this one so far. But that's the profile there. If you guys like the deck, make sure you like the video. If you want to see more like this, make sure you subscribe so you can stay tuned. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day.